Welcome to the apex of sports ownership, the Apex Athletic Collective.
Welcome in, everyone, to episode 59 of Instigate Success, Building an ABA Franchise. I am your host, Jake Schoen, as always, here for more Instigators news, ramping up towards the season, and a little over a month at this point. We'll be back in our ABA second season for the Hoosier State Instigators. Lots to be excited about for this upcoming season. Obviously, it's our second season, and we have not only moved cities, but we've also, with that, moved to a new arena. We'll be in Fishers, Indiana for this upcoming season. And hopefully, again, that is a long term move. And we will be in the Best Choice Fieldhouse. And that'll be lots of fun. I know the first season, it was amazing to be part of that and show up to our first game ever, first ever home game at the Clinton CRC and being welcomed into the Clinton community. So I can only imagine how this season is going to go and how this is going to proceed as we jump into season 2 of the Hoosier State Instigators. But just a little reminiscing there before we jump into tonight's podcast. But let's jump into it. So I've got pretty much the same stuff from last time. I was running a little bit behind, so be using most of last episode's slides here, and then I'll jump and share my screen for a little bit of the other stuff, since I didn't have quite as much time as I would have liked to prepare everything. So again, reminder, if you haven't already signed up, registration deadline is tomorrow for the Instigation Nation tournament. Again, really cool name, 3-on-3 tournament with a huge cash prize of $1,000. We still got team entries that we need to get filled. So we've got to get those filled for this to take place. Again, registration deadline is tomorrow. The tournament takes place the following weekend. So not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. $1,000 prize on the line. 3-on-3 tournament. Again, Instigation Nation tournament. You can go directly onto our website and sign up on the website. We've also got posts on social as well. If you have any questions, you can always comment there. We'll get back to you on that. But you can go directly onto the website. There should be links on there, again, on all the social to do that as well. And I forgot to mention this off the top. Happy Friday the 13th. It's been such a crazy day. I forgot that it was Friday the 13th until just about now. So that's Friday the 13th. Watch some horror movies, wear a hockey mask, and whatnot. But again, Instigation Nation tournament, 3-on-3 tournament with a huge cash prize next weekend. Sign up is due by tomorrow, though. So if you are interested or know anybody that would be interested, please forward them this information to get signed up for the tournament by tomorrow. Again, September 14th, that is the deadline. Big news, though, that we've been talking about is that, we're jumping into our next season. First season at the Best Choice Fieldhouse, first season in Fishers, Indiana. Got our home opener presented by our wonderful sponsor, the Stites family. Saturday, October 26th, 7:30 p.m. Again, most of our games, our home games, that is, are going to be night games this week, and a lot of them are on Saturdays as well. For me, that works out amazing. Obviously, I'm in Florida, so for me, that makes travel a little bit easier, both to and from. But that also opens it up so that hopefully some more people can show up to the games as well. A little bit later in the day after work, hopefully, and on the weekend. So hopefully, that continues to open up some more doors for people to make a chance out to the games. Got that full schedule out, but our home opener We definitely want to fill up the whole crowd for that home opener, Saturday, October 26th. Again, that's a little over a month. Still got some time to get your traveling plans arranged. The new venue is about 20-ish minutes away from the Indianapolis airport. So if you fly into Indianapolis airport, you can fly in early in the day. You can even fly in midday. You still got some time. You can get a ride out to the Best Choice Fieldhouse, catch the first ever Hoosier State Instigators game in Fishers, Indiana, and spend the weekend in Fishers. Enjoy some of the local businesses. Then you also got Indianapolis, not too far away as well. But I know I'll be doing my best to make it out to that home opener. I do plan on being there. Um, but haven't decided if I'll fly or drive. Either way, I'm pretty sure I'll be there for that home opener. So really looking forward to that. And again, like I said, we've got that whole schedule out. So if you want to come out to any of these games in person, even if you're not local, we do have that schedule out so you can do advanced planning. But if you're not able to make it out to the games, you can always catch the live streams, as always, for our loyal subscribers here on Patreon. You can catch the live game streams throughout the season. We will be doing that going into the second season as well. Got that upgraded camera. You got a little sneak peek of that during the Gold Cup, the IBO Gold Cup, that Pro Am tournament that we took place in this past summer. It's an AI camera. It's a ball tracking system that it uses, and it does the camera work for us. That opens the doors for us to do a little bit more on the back end of things. So hopefully that improves some of the professional look to our streams here. Um, going into the second season, one of the things I know we mentioned this before was like that scoreboard graphic. We'd like to make that a little bit more professional, keep that so that it's consistent throughout week in and week out, and then if we can start doing a little bit more as far as making it look more like the professional style presentations. And again, we did, you know, we we did what we could last year. We had all hands on deck, and everybody did an amazing job. But each year we continue. We want to continue to improve. So we look at that as stepping stones. But that I think that's going to open us up to do a lot more behind the scenes during these streams. Hopefully, we'll have somebody on location for all of the calls to give us that in-game feel, provide a little bit more analysis at the games as well. I know when I was there for the games that I helped call, made it a little bit easier when we have some of those foul calls, situations where we don't quite know what's going on, because we've got people calling remotely as well. So having somebody in person to kind of explain what's going on is always helpful, whether that's a foul call, a timeout, or just a stoppage in general for the game. Um, so that definitely is one of the things, another one of the things that we look upon continuing to improve in this next season. We got our new head coach as well, Coach Dobbs. Really excited to have her on board for this upcoming season. She's been working with the team throughout the off season since the end of the or towards the end of the Gold Cup, and definitely a lot more time for training and preparing for this upcoming season. I think we're really set up for a successful second season here, not only in Fishers but for the whole season as we travel on the road as well. I think we've got a pretty solid group of guys that we're working with here, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what we're able to do in this upcoming season. But that first game, we play a familiar foe, the Louisville Pros. We've faced off against them a few different times, and I think what I'm going to do here in a little bit is pull up the last year's records, kind of take a look back and see some of the teams we played against where those games fell. I do know the Louisville Pros, though, were the team that we faced off in our only ever overtime game to this point, and they got the best of us in that game. I know the other thing with the Louisville Pros is they have pretty good defense, and they've been able to hold us offensively on the lower end of our spectrum. throughout all of the games that we faced off against them. So that's another thing definitely to keep an eye on. Might be a more of a defensive battle here. And I will point out in an IBL Gold Cup, we did implement that zone defense, something that we didn't really use last year. And we also practice a lot of the trapping as well. So something to keep an eye on. Maybe it'll be a big part of the game plan, or maybe it'll just be an offensive show. We'll see. But that's coming up a little over a month at this point, October 26th. Best Choice Fieldhouse, Fishers, Indiana. Get your tickets again. Tickets are on the website as well, and you can go directly on there. Get your season tickets. Season tickets are under $100 for all of the games, or you can buy your individual tickets as well. Season tickets do get a little bit of some perks with it as well, so that is also something to consider if you plan on going to multiple games. Let's jump into the schedule again. Obviously, that was our main talking point last week, the announcement of the second season in the ABA and the schedule for the Hoosier State Instigators. Got it broken down into 2024 and then 2025. So, and it's actually perfectly split. Half of our season is 2024, half of our season is 2025. Made this graphic a lot easier to make. But let's jump into that again. Nashville Aces first game, October 19th. That's on the road. So that second game, that's our first home game. It'll be our home opener. But we start off the season with some familiar foes, the Aces, the Pros, and the Legends. We faced each of those teams multiple times. The Aces were a pretty solid team last year. I think they got the better of us in a few games as well as the Pros. The Legends, we are still at this point undefeated against the Legends. Get bragging rights as far as the state goes. Indiana will be the Hoosier State in that series here between the Legends and the Instigators. But we did see last year, and I don't know what their roster is currently, but we'll have to see what their roster is going into this next season. They did have one of our former players, one of the guys that was initially signed to the Instigators to start the season, our first ever season, was Yogi Anderson. He wound up joining the Legends, and we saw him in the playoff play-in game. So we'll have to see what their roster is, see if there's any more, former Instigators on that roster. But definitely a friendly rivalry we got going on. Always great games between, us and the Legends. I think they're pretty high-scoring games too, from what I remember. They can normally get real hot and hit some threes. So I think that's going to be the difference in that game. Um, and that's on the road. But obviously the road in Indiana, so it's still a close game for us. And then we jump into a 3-game home stretch against a couple of new teams. Got the Columbus Wizards again. That'll be our first time ever matching up against the Columbus Wizards. Again, we're in a new division for this upcoming season. Still the same region. We're still in the Central region, but they shifted the divisions. Again, the divisions are set up by colors. Like I said, I'm going to jump into that a little bit more. I'll wind up sharing my screen in a little bit and kind of break down the divisions and such for this upcoming season and look at some of the teams and how they ranked last season. Columbus Wizards, though, I remember I checked last week. That is in Ohio. It is Columbus, Ohio. So we got that. Then we got the Ohio Kings. So 2 Ohio teams traveling on the road to Indiana to face off against us, against the Kings, man. They were really good last year, led by their leading scorer who averaged about 50 or so points a game. I don't know if he'll be returning, but if he is, then he's definitely the guy that you got to stop. And then we've got the Pitbulls following that. That'll wrap up the month of November. You got Thanksgiving in there as well. But again, all those home games, I believe, at least in 2024, are scheduled for night games at 7:30 p.m. at the Best Choice Fieldhouse. Then we have a matchup against the same team, but on the road there to start off December, the Pipples. And I think that is really, I think that's, maybe not the turning point of the season because it's not halfway, but that's going to be a marker that I think is a more important game for us to look at jumping into the second half stretch of the season. Not quite there, but having the matchup against the same exact team that you play just prior on the road, I think is going to be a great comparison to see where our team ranks. To see how we perform at home, taking the notes from that game and implementing it into our next game against the same exact team, but we're going to flip advantages. They'll have the home advantage in that game. Um, so that again, I think is going to be a key point in the season to keep an eye on. Then we go back to a couple of home games against the Legends again. We play them a few times throughout the season. And then we have right before Christmas the matchup of December 21st, 7:30 again p.m. Chicago Fury, the defending ABA champions. So we still get to play the ABA champions for this upcoming season. It's an honor to do that. Last season, we were able to play against the Lions, the co-defending champions. This season, we'll be able to play against the Chicago Fury a couple of times, I believe, the defending champions. They won this outright this time. No special occasions occurred on this. In Mobile, Alabama, the Chicago Fury were victorious and hoisted the trophy at the end of the season. They are the sole ABA champions for this past season. But right before the holidays, we'll have that matchup. And then to wrap up 2024, another matchup, this one on the road against the Columbus Wizards. So a real exciting next couple of months here to wrap up 2024. Next month we'll start our season, and then we'll have 3 months of basketball to wrap up that half of our season. But that'll be to wrap up the year here. And again, reminder that home game, the first home game, October 26th, Louisville Pros, presented by the Stites family. That game is 7:30 p.m. October 26th at the Best Choice Fieldhouse in Fishers. All right, some technical difficulties there. We've got I'm coming back, but I'm on my phone running my laptop because it is not connecting for some reason to that. So hopefully you guys can hear me on here, but I am going to be running it here through the phone for the rest of this stream, and then I'll still be sharing the screen on the laptop though. But that'll wrap up 2024. We'll jump into 2025. 2025, we've got start off the season, or start off the year, I should say, with two home games. We got the Nashville Aces again, a familiar foe. Then a new team that we'll face for the first time. We face a couple of teams in 2025. It's Midwest Monstars. Pretty cool name, if I'm being honest there. I'm sure that's inspired by a pretty famous movie. But those are two back-to-back home games to start out 2025. And that again, 7:30 p.m. looks like is when we'll be having our home games for this upcoming season. Again, Best Choice Fieldhouse in Fishers, Indiana. Then we go on a road stretch against the Michigan Blaze, the Chicago Fury, and the Michigan Blaze again. Uh, First time we'll ever match up against the Blaze. Two times in January. And then again, we get to play the defending champions, the Chicago Fury. So that'll be a fun stretch of games. I think that's also going to be important running into the playoffs to see how we perform on these longer stretches of road games. And I will point out that January 11th and January 12th game, we've got that one home game against the Midwest Monstars. And then we've got the following game is away. That's in Michigan against the Michigan Blaze. I think that's also going to be one of those crucial games, back-to-back type of games things to keep an eye on and see how we do when we travel on the road, playing games consecutive days. Again, that's going to be huge going into the playoffs. In the playoffs, we saw we had to play those playing games on consecutive days. There was some travel involved with that as well. So I think that's going to get us more prepared jumping into this upcoming season and the upcoming playoffs following the season. I think that's one of the things that we can definitely get ourselves a little bit more acclimated to when we jump into this second season. But again, we get to have those two back-to-back games against two new teams. Then we have that game against the defending champions, jump back against the Michigan Blaze. Then we'll have another home game, a bit of a stretch there between home games. February 1st against the Ohio Kings, another team that we faced off a few times against. We always enjoy those games, typically pretty high scoring games. Then we're on the road again for another 3 game stretch. We'll play the Pitbulls, the Monstars again. So we get to play a couple of teams that we will be playing for multiple times throughout the season. Then the Ohio Kings again. We played some of these teams several times, I think 2 or 3 times for some of these teams throughout the season. Then we've got our final game of the season is a home game, March 1st against the Maysville Miners. And that'll be our only matchup on the schedule against the Maysville Miners as well. But that'll wrap up our regular season, and that will lead us into hopefully the postseason and playoffs for our second season in the ABA. Like I said, we're going to jump over and I'll share my screen here in a minute, and we'll jump over to our website first, and then we'll jump to our stats portal. All right, we got our website up here, and you can see we got the schedule right on the main page here. And you can click on either one of these to get your tickets for this upcoming season. If you do that, you'll see it will get you over to our ticketing page. And our tickets are right over here. You can get your season tickets, then again, individual game tickets right on the website. And that's also, if you click this tab here, the Games and Events tab, that'll get you directly over here. And then you also got our signups. If you have not already signed up or know somebody that needs to sign up or would like to, for the Instigation Nation 3-on-3 tournament, again, Saturday, September 21st. That will be next weekend. And it's at the Municipal Gardens in Indianapolis. $200 fee per team, $1,000 on the line though, so you can definitely make some money here. Again, our season tickets, you can read more about them here. But like I said, you do get some benefits here with the season ticket holders. You get all the regular season games and exclusive merchandise opportunities. You also get the private meet and greet with the players and coach. So that is something to keep in mind. Again, we'll jump back to that main screen here. And if you jump over here a little bit further, you can see some of our sponsorship opportunities. Again, we've got that updated graphic here with some more of our opportunities, different levels as well. And there's also custom options. So if there's anything that you would be interested in or know somebody or think there's a cool possible partnership for the Instigators for our second season, definitely let them know, let us know, let everyone know about that. But again, those are some of our most popular options. We do also have some custom options as well that we can discuss it further. Contact information is listed on that as well. And then if you go all the way over, this was a couple of weeks ago, we were on the news. So you can watch that news broadcast there. You can watch the games from last season, catch up on all of your Instigators games from last season, check out some stats from last year. And if you are interested in being a volunteer or an intern, you can definitely click on this link here and fill out the form. There's some information here, and then you can contact us and let us know. But we do have at least one person that I know will be joining us for this upcoming season, and we'll have hopefully a lot of fun with that. Again, we're going to update that shop throughout this off season, and as we jump into the regular season, we'll get this all updated with our new players, and kind of filter out some of the old ones here for the jerseys. And you can get your exclusive player line t-shirts. Again, we're working on getting that set up for all the players. You can jump over to sponsors. You can see who supports your Instigators already. Again, some of our packages are down here with a form to fill out if you're interested. But you can definitely see it. You get yourself on the website here with your sponsorship. You can jump again back to the games and events. And let's jump back to the main screen here. And we're going to jump back to that, and then we'll jump on to that stats portal. Again, the ABA is a little hit or miss when it comes to stats. So the stats portal that we use, obviously we submit our own stats, and it also depends on other teams submitting their own stats. And My Stats Online typically has the most available when it comes to that. I think they also use, it's the same thing as if you go to the ABA website under the stats category, but it's maybe a little bit easier to navigate through. So we'll jump over there and take a look. And you can see it's like the ABA website, and I've got it on standings right now. We'll take a look at, we'll actually jump to this upcoming season. So it already has it updated for this upcoming season to do the divisions, just so we have an idea on the divisions. So you can see we're right at the top: Central Division, Central Region, Black Division, Chicago Fury, the defending champions. And there's a couple of teams that we don't necessarily match up against, but they still are in our division. So you can see us, we are third on that list there, the Hoosier State Instigators. We also have the Green River Mavericks, Not sure what FKA stands for, but WML Hawks, possibly the previous team name. We got the Lacrosse Showtime, Midwest Monstars. Again, we'll face off against them a few times. Naperville Wise Guys, Southland Saints, who we faced off against last year. The Windy City Inferno, and Wisconsin Frost. And let's see. If we jump back to our previous division, the Central Red division, we'll see the Legends, who we face off against a few times. The Lions, Jackson Boom, I believe that's a new team for that division. Little Rock Hogs, again, another team that looks to be new for that division. Louisville Pros, who will face off against the Maysville Miners. We have that one game against Nashville Aces and the Ohio Kings. So that is most of the teams that we'll match up against. And then you can see here, as I've been scrolling, the Pit Bulls we do match up against. They are in the white division. And that would be the East. So we would face off against most of those teams. And then the blue division, we do have a couple of games here as well. The Wizards, we match up against a few times. The Blaze. And that may be it. So there's a quick look at the divisions, at least what is tentative for this upcoming season. We can jump back to take a look at some of the team rankings and statistics when it goes to the last season. So this would be our division for this upcoming season, the Black Division. Chicago Fury, the defending champions, outright champions of last season, 18-2 in the regular season, undefeated at home. So let's see if we can break that record there. But definitely a huge plus minus as far as the margin of victory there. Plus 644 points. That is very, very impressive. And that is a huge margin. Then we take a look at the other teams in the division. It looks like as far as the other teams, there's only one other team with a winning record, the Chicago Knights. However, I'm not sure if they hit the quite enough games throughout the season. And then we got a couple of other teams on here. As far as who's still in the division, I believe the Southland Saints would still be in the division for this upcoming season. We got Lacrosse is still on there. They're 500. And the Wisconsin Frost, I do know they are still in there as well. So definitely a little bit of a different look when it comes to this upcoming season in the Black Division compared to being in the Red Division last year. But we can take a look at some of those other teams we'll play against. We've got the Columbus Wizards. Again, that's a team we'll be playing against a few times. They had a winning record last season, 9-4. And a pretty decent plus minus when you look at that. And again, their home record is very impressive, 7-2, but plus 278 in the 13 games that they played. So that is impressive. If we go back to ours from last season, and again, these are self-reported stats, and then it's also reflective upon, if a team submitted stats before and finalized stats before a team submitted, then it leads to what you see here for the records. But the Lions, again, they were at the top of our division last season, even though the Kings did have the best record as far as win-loss percentage, and even outright total points, they were a little bit higher. But we had a pretty decent season, almost broke even as far as the plus minus, but we needed to improve the defense just a little bit more. And I will point out, that's why I said self-reported and depending on submissions, because the Legends did have a win throughout their season. So that should not be a 0, but they did have a win at a point in the season. Louisville Pros, again, they were a tough matchup against us for the defense, 5-12, and then the Nashville Aces, 12-4. But that will be a lot of the teams that we face off against. Then we've got the Pit Bulls, just about even, but they were on a positive side for the plus minus. So that is a quick look into this upcoming season as far as our matchups, a little bit of an idea with how teams ranked against last season compared to this upcoming season, and look at the division that we will be a part of in this upcoming season. In some of these upcoming episodes or podcasts, I'm going to try to break down a little bit more into the statistics, and kind of break it down, see if we've got similar opponents that we played if we haven't played the teams in the past, and kind of compare those in some graphics that are a little bit easier than jumping around on web pages, and kind of break it down a little bit more in depth if we can. Let's jump back to this. But yeah, it'll be a fun upcoming season. Still got plenty of things to jump into. And I know we went over this last week, but again, we've got brand new shorts for this upcoming season, something we're pretty excited about. We did have that submission open for some fan designs. Didn't get quite too many, and this was the only one that kind of implemented our team design as far as the jersey design. And I will point out, I did point this out last week as well. This will be our first part of the uniform that has the Instigators logo on it. So that to me is super cool. We've got the Instigators on the chest, the numbers, and the whole design. But this will be the first thing on our jerseys that have the logo on them. So the shorts will have the logos, and we do have black and white shorts, but they feature that design that is carrying over from the number on the jersey. So that'll be cool. Make us look a little bit cooler going into our second season. And I mean, we already got the best logo, the best team name. Pretty sure if you pulled people, we'd be right up there. But at least according to us, it's definitely the best one out there. But this will be cool to work on and having the best uniforms possible. But that is what we've got looking forward to this upcoming weeks and months and so on. But I think that is pretty much it for this week's episode. Sorry for that technical difficulty and having to jump over to the phone to get this one finished out. But that will wrap up this week's episode. Jump back to the beginning part right here. Reminder, signups are due tomorrow. That is the deadline for the Instigation Nation tournament. $200 fee for that 3-on-3 tournament per team with $1,000 on the line. We do need some more teams to get signed up to make sure that this happens. So that deadline again is tomorrow. So please, if you are considering, sign up for that ahead of time. Then a reminder, our first game at home, the home opener, Saturday, October 26th, at the Best Choice Fieldhouse in Fishers, Indiana. We play the Louisville Pros, and you can get your tickets now as well as season tickets on apexofsports.com/tickets, or you can go right onto the main page and then click on that banner that we showed you. But we've got that coming up, presented by the Stites family, one of our wonderful sponsors for this upcoming season. And that is pretty much it for tonight's episode. And that is it for tonight's episode. Again, check out that schedule. See if there's any games you can make it to. If not, reminder, you can subscribe to the Patreon and catch our live games. And again, if you're not at the fan voter or higher tier, you can subscribe to that tier to get exclusive votes throughout the season and off season as we continue to have fan voices heard and fan ownership of the team and making ownership decisions, such as player evaluations. And we've got a string of things that we're working on as far as decisions for our fans for this upcoming season. We'll have to continue to work on that, and then we'll hopefully have some fan votes for in season. and a little bit more than last year with the Player of the Weeks. Hopefully, we'll have some more actual in-game votes for that we are working on. So jump into that fan voter or higher tier. They also get to decide some of our interesting decisions with the Apex Athletic Collective, such as investment opportunities, the next sports that we'll be jumping into, just as a little teaser for everyone out there. But again, you can subscribe at, I believe, just about any level, any paid level to get access to the live game streams. So you can do that as well. And you can always catch us Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern for the weekly podcast, Instigate Success, Building an ABA Franchise. This has been episode 59, and that will do it for tonight's episode. As always, until next time, be great and instigate.